He seems extremely immature. No
Yeah.
man who is mature is going to want his woman
No.
to seem like a beg.
Yeah.
Okay?
Even if
Any
she
man
did
who is
beg him, he
mature,
would be elevating her to the public. Like she's the one that I wanted. Like, it might have started the way where she pursued me first, but I'm so lucky to have her. That's what a man who
mhm.
really would care about her would flip it in that way to protect her and to make her still seem like the prize that everyone believes that she is.
So many women in my life who will date men who are unattractive, and they have been hurt or displaced by other men in their lives. And
Yeah.
so what they will tend to do is they will date a man who they think will kind of worship them because they're so much
Yeah.
out of his league,
Right.
right? But what ends up happening is that that man just negs them.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome to the Cherry Jasmine Show. We are,
Cherry B.
and I'm Xavia Jazmine. We are sister-in-laws and friends, and we talk about everything under the sun. And today we'd like to open up that discussion to you. So, what are we talking about today, Cherry B?
So today we are going down the rabbit hole of Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco's weird relationship, and specifically Benny Blanco's disgusting hygiene practices. For those of you who do not know, years ago, Benny Blanco, well, I don't know how many years ago, but Benny Blanco basically is a kind of random guy that Selena Gomez got with. Everybody was surprised because he is so physically unattractive, but we all kind of accepted it because initially he seemed like he was a reasonably nice person. And, there are many women who are attractive that marry unattractive men because they have really good personalities, they have ambition, money, etc. Right? So as time went on, people essentially started to realize that this man just was disgusting. He had certain disgusting habits and certain disgusting things that he had said in interviews. But recently, he started a podcast with a friend of his and his friend's wife, and he farted on camera.
Mm.
I don't even like saying that word, it's that disgusting to me. He passed wind upon the camera and specifically wanted the camera to
On the
film it. And
microphone.
then, yeah, upon the microphone. And then he specifically had dirty black feet on his friend's cream slash beige couch and
Yeah.
was like rubbing his dirty black foot into the couch.
Are you ready to gag and not in a good way? Benny Blanco, sir, not only are the bottom of your feet the dirtiest things I've ever seen in a long time, but why are you rubbing them on this creamish looking couch? You know I'm Korean, so we take our shoes off at the door. But if you came over and your feet were this dirty, I might just ask you to put your shoes back on. Mind you, Benny has a new podcast. This is episode 1 minute in.
What's the rules for gas,
Please,
pissing?
do whatever you want. Okay, the whole goal here, this entire home is
Wait,
just
see if
gonna
you guys can pick this up.
gonna pick up. I like that.
That was just a
It
little.
was a little squeak, like a little.
You don't want us to get to know you better before you toot or rub your dirty feet on the couch? I don't know what this podcast is about. I don't know what they're going to talk about. I just know that I am distracted. And for the rest of my days, I'm just going to be visualizing his dirty feet everywhere. You know this man gets pedicures, right? With nail art, with his toe hairs laid out nice and slick. What happened here? I was always taught that your no-no squares and your feet need to always be clean. And if you are a card-carrying member of the Dirty Foot Brigade, please don't leave me comments saying, oh, let him live, because you're nasty too. Seriously, it's like they just dusted his footprints at a crime scene. This is absurd.
Now, when this happened, obviously the internet does what the internet does, which is people started to investigate his previous interviews and other things that he had said. And there were so many disturbing things that he had said, including filling up a whole tub with nacho cheese, having somebody urinate in his mouth, one of his friends. Like, this man is just disgusting. And we'll put in some clips and then, we'll comment after that.
Don't believe in like always shampooing your hair or conditioning your hair. I also don't. I'm like really clean, but I don't shower every day. But some people I know shower like 2-3 times a day. But I feel like the oils on your skin don't have like time to like rejuvenate and get juicy. I want there to be an aroma as I'm walking by. My friends in my mouth like as a joke. Like dude, we used to do like crazy like just like for fun like
So as you guys can see, like there are just so many disgusting things that this man has said and done. And I think what we wanted to talk about today is that this is not normal behavior. And as considering the fact that Selena Gomez is a mogul, she's a billionaire, she has her own brands, you know, especially her own beauty brand, this is extremely unusual behavior for somebody married to a woman of this caliber. And first of all, the first thing we want to point out is if you are a woman in the normal world and you have a man who in any way, shape or form does this, this is a red flag of all red flags. Okay.
Absolutely.
And specifically because I know that there are women, even though Benny Blanco himself is not super attractive, I know that there are women who would put up with this type of behavior from men if they were better looking, right? I've actually seen women deal with men with terrible hygiene, but because they're good looking, they will, you know, deal with this. And first of all, they'll accept it. And as a woman, this should disgust you in so many ways, and for really good reasons. Reason number one is that whoever you are associated with, whether it's your friends or your family, but specifically your partner, your husband, he is supposed to represent and protect you and bring you opportunities, all these things. If people are repulsed by him because he's disgusting and because he smells and because he does all these repulsive things, that is going to affect your money. It's going to affect your reputation. It's going to affect the way people view you as a human being, right? Number one. Number two,
the kids that you have are going to be caught in that reputation as well. Even if they are more hygienic, they get one sense. We know how cruel kids can be. They get one sense that their dad is this horrible, disgusting person, and all of a sudden,
the dirty kid. All of a sudden, And honestly, when it comes down to it, as a woman, this is not even a representation you should want. Like, it's not a normal thing that a man should want to do these things and like not think about your reputation, especially if you have a beauty brand, right? And this brings me to the next point. I have met so many women in my life who will date men who are unattractive, and they have been hurt or displaced by other men in their lives. And so what they will tend to do is they will date a man who they think will kind of worship them because they're so much out of his league. Right. But what ends up happening is that man just negs them, which basically so for those who don't know what that means, he will essentially, or let me put this in a different way. If you date a guy who does not have a good character, but he's just unattractive, it's not going to make him feel like he should be grateful. It will just inflate his ego, right? And so oftentimes women will be dating these guys who are unattractive, but then also treat them badly or also disrespect them publicly. Because I find it very difficult to believe that, especially as an entertainer, where you know that your relationships are based on word of mouth and how people perceive you, I find it very difficult to believe that you would not consider this to be a disturbing thing for your wife, not just for you. Especially when he's doing things like putting her on camera and she doesn't even know that she's on camera. You're saying things like, you know, you're making a point over and over again of saying that she said that she loved you first and all of this stuff. This is
took him on a date first, and it's
this is ego building for him.
Absolutely. And it's incredible in a horrible way, because it's like, this is a woman that many people admire just for her physical beauty and for her business mindset. As we said, she's a billionaire because not only did she start her career in Disney, you know, a very long career in Disney, but now she's taken it on in her adult life to have this beauty brand that has brought her into the billions. And so most people would assume that she would be worshipped by whoever she's with, even if she's with, you know, a very attractive, you know, a celebrity as well. Do you know what I mean? We'd all expect that that's the person she'd go for because she has this divinity about her. That's what everyone recognizes in her. But it's almost as if her husband is taking pleasure in going, yeah, I don't care that I'm this disgusting person and that my hygiene levels are very lackadaisical compared to the usual standard, but on top of that, this is who I am, and yet my gorgeous wife was the one who said I love you to me first, and I told her, oh, just go back to bed. And you know, my gorgeous wife, who was my girlfriend, you know, at the time, she's the one who took me on a date first, and I didn't even know it was a date. And so, as Cherry said, it's this huge ego building exercise where it's not even like he's unaware of how this will affect her. It's like he doesn't care. And he's saying it because he knows it will give him the clout and him the attention that he wants.
And he seems extremely immature. No
Yeah.
man who is mature is going to want that, is going to want his woman to seem like a beg. Okay?
Yeah. Even if
Any
she
man
did
who's
beg him,
mature.
he would be elevating her to the public. Like, she's the one that I wanted. Like, you know, it might have started the way where she pursued me first, but I'm so lucky to have her. That's what a man who would care about her would flip it in that way, to protect her and to make her still seem like the prize that everyone believes that she is.
So the other thing that we need to understand as women is that bad hygiene can specifically affect us negatively. Okay?
Yeah.
If a man does not know how to clean himself properly, this can give you all kinds of problems, not just problems, you know, on your face, on your overall body, but in your cookie area. Okay, so first of all, there is a whole
now, right? Yeah,
there is a whole thread right now of women who are basically saying that they have gotten rashes on their faces because their men will not wash their beards. And so they will get like rashes or infections because their husbands or their boyfriends have not washed their beards, and they're touching their face with their face, you know?
See, I've been saying that beards carry a ton of bacteria, and when you rub up against them, they create tiny little cuts in the skin, which can lead to infections like impetigo. Clean your beards.
And so that's disgusting in itself. But then if this man doesn't brush his teeth properly, and, you know, he can pass something on to you in terms of not just basic germs like colds and things like that, but also things like causing you infections if he's gonna perform oral while you're in if you're in a relationship. And, you know, things like this are, you know, very uncomfortable to talk about, but they need to be talked about, because you can
it's a practical thing that we're talking about. We're not just
practical thing.
We're not just cussing him as a person. It's like, this can actually have physical can cause a physical detriment to the female's body,
especially because
her man is not taking care of himself.
He is entering you, like when you're performing certain acts, and it's like, if this man is not washing, if he's not cleaning himself, it is going to cause you a problem, right? And so you need to make sure that you have somebody who is clean and hygienic and who understands that your hygiene and your self-care is also based on his self-care, right? And so it's not a good look for any woman to be in this kind of situation.
What we want to just emphasize as well is that, you know, Cherry started off by saying we know that a lot of females will take this from an attractive man, but we're really specifying that this should not be acceptable from any man, attractive or not, because there are so many implications. First of all, your immediate hygiene and possible infections that could come from his bad hygiene, then your reputation, then your future kids if you do have kids with this guy. Not only are they going to pick up his bad habits, but they are going to get bullied when they go out into public themselves, because they're learning it from their parents. And if one of their parents has terrible hygiene, that's what they're going to pick up in some way, shape or form. That's how they're going to be influenced. And a lot of people have been asking this question that really hasn't been answered yet. Some people were saying, how can Selena, this goddess, appearing woman, settle for such a man, because he's so many levels below her in so many ways, right? Yes, he's successful, but it doesn't seem like monetarily he earns as much. Physically, success-wise, just on so many levels. Some people are saying maybe Selena is secretly this dirty and she just likes that kind of guy, and so it's only just coming out now because he's so publicly displaying how dirty he is. But we really have to ask the question. It's no secret that over the years Selena has had a lot of run-ins with her friends, let alone, because it just keeps coming up that she's not that nice of a person to her friends. And some things have been really shocking. I think probably the biggest thing that people remember is the fact that her friend really kindly and generously gave her a kidney. And after she received the kidney, the surgery went well and she recovered back to health, and she dropped her friend in terms of keeping in communication with this friend. She dropped her. And so a lot of people are just kind of seeing a side of her that is not this wonderful Disney princess that everyone wants to believe, that she is. We're seeing how she is in the adult world, and it's not pretty. And so the question that you kind of have to ask, because things do come back around. We don't call it karma, but we do believe that what you put out into the world in terms of how you act and how you treat people absolutely comes back to you. And so we're really asking, you reap what you sow. Thank you, Cherry. So we're really asking the question, is this disgusting character meets disgusting hygiene? Is that really what's happening here? Because what no one can get their head around is how someone so clean emphasis on the seams, who seems to be so clean, can settle and be so madly in love with this man who is so dirty and publicly, proudly disgusting in so many ways. And so is she actually a very clean person, and in every superficial way the goddess that everyone sees her as, this beautiful pristine woman? But is it that she has treated people so badly or been so bad man in other scenarios that this, because a lot of people see it as an insecurity thing. So is it that you have pushed so many people away that this is now all you feel like you can get, and so there's a certain level of gratitude?
Or maybe it is all you can get.
Maybe it is all you can get. And so what many people see as settling behind the scenes is possibly all she can get, because of it being a result of the decisions that she's made when she had choices, when she had options.
Editing Cherry B here. We just wanted to acknowledge that it is very possible also that Selena does just love him, and that actually she's happy with him, she's happy with his hygiene practices, and maybe even he does love her. Maybe they're both happy together, dealing with whatever they're dealing with, and that is also a real possibility. It just seems like a very unusual thing that his behavior would be this way, given the fact that his wife has such a reputation of prestige and importance with her brand and all of these things. We're not the biggest Selena fans. We don't know everything about her life. However, we just wanted to point out that billionaires and millionaires can get away with this type of behavior because of who they are. If you are a young woman in this day and age and you have a man that represents you in this way, it is going to cause you a problem. So anyway, just wanted to pop that in. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, please let us know what you thought. That is it from us today. Please let us know in the comments what you thought of what we said, what you think. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us into the next videos, because we talk about everything under the sun and we want you to join us in those conversations. So see you next time. Bye.